Okay, it's Mark here with a quick video. Again, I'm still on holiday, but I'm leaving in 5 days. I'm going back early because I just want to make some videos because I've got likes and subscriptions and stuff. That's got me excited. So we're going to make some videos, and today's video is all about what not to do when putting together a label. Okay, now I'll do a video on how to do a good label, but let's just look at some of the mistakes people make. Now, the first one we've got going on here is a pointless coloured cap fighting for attention. When people are on the website, it might not be such a big deal, and a cap can sort of maybe aid the aesthetics, but in general, to me, the important message, normally the message in the center of the label that lets the person looking at it know that it potentially holds a solution to their ailments or problems. That to me is more important than anything else. And with people having such limited attention these days, I don't want my cap, something pointless, fighting for the attention. I want the eyeballs on the message right in the middle of the label. So for me, the pointless cap goes, right, you know, white on white, great, black on black, great. Just don't let the bottle do all the talking, unless you're really going for it and you're getting custom bottles made with a certain design. But be mindful now. Look, let's start with the logo there on the right-hand side. This is a typical logo. I've seen about 8 billion of this with the old leaf. Looks like a laboratory's done this one. This is a bottle I've made up myself. It's just an example. I've tried to do as horrible a job as possible. And I thought, why not use the old leaf icon? You know, so don't use the leaf icon. Everyone's doing it. It's boring and it screams that you don't care. These businesses need love, care, thought. Put some of that in and you'll have something great. Because I tell you, it'll probably take you longer doing it wrong than it would doing it right. You've got to build the damn thing anyway. So give it thought first. Abraham Lincoln said, give me 6 hours to chop down a tree and I'll spend the first 4 sharpening the axe. Preparation, planning, preparation, planning. All right, so put thought and love in. Have a look at some other stuff that's going on. Be creative. One thing I like to help me when being creative is the Thesaurus. So I go to the Thesaurus.com or whatever, and I might type in leaf, and it will spit out 20 different words that are like leaf or explain vaguely what a leaf is or have something to do with it, which then I could go and find an image of. I like to use the Thesaurus when coming up with product names as well. I punched sleep in the other day, and it came back with slumber. I'm like, that's a nice name on a product label. So put some love and care in. Don't do the tired, done, tested, but uninspiring. People are really brand conscious now. Right, brand name has nothing to do with the ailment. Screams corporate and disappears off the label. Yeah, that's no good. Now, when you're designing your label, remember, when I design a label, I have 2 things open, okay? The first is I have a label template in PowerPoint. I use PowerPoint to do all my labels. This bottle here was done in PowerPoint. But when you're doing it in PowerPoint, you are just doing the label. Once you've done that label, it then gets imported over to, for me, Boxshot. And Boxshot is a bit of software that allows me to produce the bottle and the nice caps and the reflections and all that good stuff. And then I just import the label and it appears wrapped around. So remember, when you're designing your label, make sure you get your designer, or you keep going back and forth between PowerPoint and Boxshot all the time to make sure that none of the words are disappearing around the side of the bottle. In real life, when the client gets it, it doesn't matter, because in our 3D, with our 3D vision and just rotating the bottle, they'll see it. But again, always remember what this bottle might look like when it's just up there, and potentially on a phone where it's going to be really small. And words like the brand name, you know, they might mean something if you do it well, which I'll explain now. So we don't want them disappearing off. Now, when it comes to naming your brand, you could name it something like Supplement Profits, but that's just not going to sit well with the customers, is it? You know, you don't want an About Us page with pictures of you with your Ferrari showing them where all their money's going. So give thought to it. Supplement Profit, Supplement Factory, or, you know, anything like that. It's just not good, and you're missing a trick here, and here's why. We have an opportunity with our brand name to really show our clients that we are experts in a niche, okay? So if you were to go and start a focus formula supplement business and called it Supplement Profits, as the brand name up the top, would that feel as good as if it was something like Cognitive Laboratories? I know 99% of people would buy from Cognitive Laboratories because just the brand name resonates with what the product is and just gives this vibe that there's experts and a scientist, a laboratory, a receptionist. It sounds like a legit business. But when you have something that's related to your family or your favorite name, or it's something cool sounding, that you love but means nothing to anyone else, then consider possibly creating a brand name using the ailment in there somehow, or doubling down on what you actually do to give that illusion that you are the expert. Don't sound too corporate with LLC and stuff. Really make it sound like you care about the end user and you have the solution. Figure a way of saying that in the brand name. Right, quality assurance icons, too small and tired looking due to different colors and styles. Having quality assurance icons on your label is a great idea. And if you're selling internationally, and I highly advise doing so, having a made in USA or the flag on the label is always a great thing as well. International customers like to see that. Excuse me. GMP, letting your customers know that this product has been formulated and manufactured in an FDA registered facility, which is what a facility is when it's certified GMP, good manufacturing practices. Excuse me. Letting your clients know that it's built in an FDA registered facility with the GMP logo is always a great thing. But here, they're just too small. And again, we're looking, I hope you're looking on desktops. God knows how you can run a business on a phone. But anyway, I'm old. But like, imagine on a phone if someone's seeing that. Those icons are it's just a distraction. They're going to be too small to see. People, I see a lot of supplement businesses now going minimalist, and they're making everything small, including the fonts. We'll get into that in a moment. But minimalist doesn't necessarily mean leaving all the detail off the label. I like to put detail on the label. Minimalist can just be cutting down to 2 colors. You discipline yourself to only use 2 colors on the label. Maybe 3, but that would be it. In which case those icons there, they would need to be bigger anyway. So possibly we'd put them down the side, just to the left of anxiety, make anxiety slightly smaller, so that we could then make them bigger, and they might just be in a single color like gray or black. The detail on these logos as well would need to be reduced. So we would really need to just make simple icons that just say GMP with a tick, for example. Because again, on phones, which most people tend to be on, these bottle images, they're real small. And all this detail gets lost and just makes it murky. Right, I don't like taking everything off though. You know, my argument's always been, I like to have something like ashwagandha relaxation support on the front of the label. Maybe sometimes 3 bullet points, so L-theanine, mood and stress aid as well underneath it, and a third. Because sometimes those basic explanations can tip someone over the edge where they before perhaps didn't fully understand what the product was going to do to them, do for them. But also, importantly, they may have heard of the product. They may have, the ingredient. They may have been sat on the fence for a while. I keep reading about ashwagandha, and it's in this product that I'm thinking of buying. Go on then, let's give it a try. I keep hearing about ashwagandha, so I do like to have it on, and I know people want it minimalist, but make it minimalist with limited design, limited colors, and then get your lettering on, but just learn how to say things in a short way. Quality assurance icons, too small, tired looking, yeah. Next, dietary supplement, capsule count, and 30-day supply. Those guys need to be in the lower 30% of the label. Where I've put the dietary supplement above the anxiety word, it's illegal. It's got to be down the bottom there in the lower 30%. You will see, and will have always seen, dietary supplement, and you will have always seen 90 capsules, 60 capsules, 30 capsules. You'll have always seen the capsule count, but a new FDA ruling now, I believe it came into force last month, 2 months ago, is that they want you to put the 30-day or the number of days supply on the front as well. So if it's a 3-month supply, you have to have 90-day supply, and that will have to be in the lower 30% of your label. Get that wrong, and that is your first legal issue. But prior, we've just been talking design. This is a legal issue and could result in you being made to peel the labels off the 1,000 bottles you just ordered. If you go with a GMP certified facility, that is a manufacturing partner that's got the GMP accreditation and the facility is FDA certified, They will backstop this. They will not print a label that breaks FDA rules. So make sure that you always find a manufacturing partner that's certified GMP. Right, next. All capitals. It's hard to read as the letters are all the same height, and it just induces anxiety. Now, when I was creating this example bottle, I actually was taken back in my thoughts to a client who came to me who actually had this. He'd gone and set up, bought an anxiety formula, and he'd gone and got someone to do the label, and they had put anxiety in full capitals. Now, what we've got to remember is people come to our websites usually not happy, subject to the supplement and the niche you're in, but in general, if we're selling anxiety, for example, a lack of focus, libido, testosterone, menopause, all these clients, fat loss, are coming to the website somewhat distressed, lacking hope, and down. And if we take the example of, and well, I'll finish what I was saying. So our website needs to pick them up the moment they land there. Now let's take the anxiety formula example. Let's say we have someone, a user on the site, it's around 7 p.m. at night. What's happened there? Well, what's happened is they've probably had a really, really crappy day. Started getting out of bed the wrong side, and it got just worse from there. Horrible day at work, maybe a falling out with some colleagues, maybe a telling off from the boss, and then they've just sat through a hellish commute with even the car breaking down, and just it's all too much. Let's take a breath. And that's exactly how your label and your website should make someone with anxiety feel. Now, this client who had this as an example, when I landed on the website, the bottle label was neon pink and blue, and anxiety was in full cap locks. And the background for the website was just meh, you know. And I said, you've got to get someone to take a breath the minute they arrive. So I took down the header and we put up this lovely image of this serene lake with these beautiful trees and the sun just coming through. And there was this statue of some sort of figure just meditating by the lake. It was wonderful. And the minute you saw that, you just thought, ah, that's better. And that's what we need to do. Pull people out of the concrete jungle they've been mentally in all day and take them to another world. Now, back to the labels. That was website advice. I like tangents. Right. We know in internet language that caps lock is shouting, it's screaming. What is the last thing you would ever want to do to someone you wanted to help with anxiety? Someone that was real sort of nervous and fearful and just everything's making them on edge. The last thing we want to do is scream at them. So don't use caps locks. Rarely should you use it. Listen, use, pushing and pulling. If it's a gym product and I want to explain that, I don't know, maybe it's a 5,000 calorie milkshake to help me put on serious muscle. So if I'm going to call the product Mega Mass 5,000, and forgive me if there's a product out there, I want the big blocky letters. I want the capitals. I want that impact. But if it's anxiety, I want to whisper and let that person know the moment they're on my site, from the vibe and the impressions and look and feel, that they're in a really safe space and it's a good place to be, and possibly a place where they might find a solution to the ailment that's been holding them back from living life as they should. Now, one other issue I have with not getting your fonts right and not understanding your market and who you're talking to and how they should be spoken to is capitals are hard to read. Believe it or not, when we read lowercase words, we don't actually read a lot of the letters. We do not read T-H-E in the, because our brains have been so used to seeing the shape of the top of the T, falling off the cross through it, down to the H, the little bump on the H and off the E. We're so used to seeing that shape now that when our eyes come to the brain doesn't read it, it just moves on. When we use capitals, every letter is the same height, and so the brain can't lean on the shapes and patterns it recognizes. So the brain has to read every single letter, and this can become tiring if overused. We're talking milliseconds, but it could be the difference between someone hanging around another split second longer on the site and finally seeing that thing they needed to hear that made them say, do you know what? Okay, I'm going to buy it. I'm going to give it a go. As opposed to them leaving a second earlier and just not buying. So be scarce with your capitals. Capitals should be used for impact. There's a reason we use them in text messages when we're upset and angry and shouting. And it's for that reason, so be mindful of that. Right. Anxiety-inducing background design. 100%. This bottle is gross. And that background is screaming for attention. If I had a client that really insisted, I've got to have it on there, it's my good luck pattern or some mumbo jumbo like that, what would I do? I'd probably put the anxiety into white and then I'd crop the bottom of the colored stripes all the way up to formula. So anxiety and formula in white, and then they could have that stripy background on just that one word, those two words, because otherwise it's just fighting and it's very hard to read the rest of the information. And the information really is supposed to do the selling, right? So we don't want to silence the voice of our salesperson there with a background that's just overpowering everything. Be careful with your design. Now, legal issue number 2. The FDA is knocking at the door on this one. Makes claims of curing, treating, or diagnosing an illness or disease. Very small letters there, I'll come on to that in a moment. Depression cure. That's a big, big no-no. In fact, that's a double no-no. I'll tell you why that's a double no-no. Oi, what happened there? I got some balloons. I don't know what happened there. Apparently when you stick your fingers up on PowerPoint, record, you get balloons. Right, the double no. Firstly, we've used the name of a known, recognized illness or disease, depression. The second no-no, you're not allowed to use that. That is for the pharmaceutical companies who allegedly have the drugs. So depression, we're not allowed to use any language. We're not medical professionals, let's be honest here. So we can't use any language that, as the FDA would say, is designed to mitigate, diagnose, treat, or cure an illness or disease. And that brings us on to the second no, which is cure. You are not allowed to put the word cure on a label. Your formula has never been tested in a laboratory to see if it could cure said illness. And even if it did, in 100% of people, you still wouldn't probably get away with cure. And you couldn't anyway, because it's a dietary supplement and not a drug, and the rules just don't allow it. So there we've got depression cure. You cannot make a claim of being able to fix, to treat, mitigate, treat, diagnose, or cure any illness or disease. So that one would get you in trouble. So what can I say, Mark? Well, you can say, basically what we can say is that this assists or supports or helps people with depression. That's what we need to say. We can't use the word depression though. We can use anxiety, so we could double down on the anxiety. We can say stress and we can say mood. So perhaps something like anxiety, stress and mood support. Depending on your manufacturer and how tight they are with the FDA regulations, you may be forced to put helps designed to support or may help support, and then the 3 claims with an asterisk on every single one. But depression cure is no good. Anxiety support formula, no problem. Support, assist, maintain, aids, no problem. But cure, fix, improve, better, increase, those words are not allowed. We're not allowed to make any suggestion on the label of an improvement over human default. The clue is in the term dietary supplement. It's a supplement designed to supplement the diet, an ingredient designed to supplement the diet, so assist, maintain. It's not a drug or a performance-enhancing drug that might do something like increase. And remember that on your 3 claims. If you, like me, like to put 3 claims on the bottle label here, we've gone a little bit crazy. I've put this in small to reiterate, remember accessibility, and we'll come on to that point in a minute. So small have I done it now that I can't even read it myself. Stops. Okay, let's practice. Right, stops, anxiety and depression. There's 2 no's in there. The first one is stops, because it's it's implying a cure, a treatment. Stops is no good. Anxiety. and depression. So we can get away with anxiety, but depression is a no-go. What's the next one? Cures, no good. Stress, mood, libido, height. Get your benefits down to 3 and make those 3 benefits really important to the one reason someone's there. So if we have a fat loss supplement, the 3 benefits would be fat loss, maybe something like rapid fat loss if we could get away with that. But anyway, let me stay on point. So it would be fat loss, but what's the problem when you're losing weight? Dietary supplements work, but what's the problem? Well, you're starving hungry all day long because the metabolism might be sped up. And so you're miserable as a result. And because of that, you're lacking energy, you're in a bad mood, yuck. So the 3 benefits would be fat loss. The second one would be appetite control, or supports appetite control, appetite suppressant aid. And then the third one would be something to let the person know that you're going to feel great on this. So energy and mood support. And then that would cover all 3 bases. But ultimately what we're doing is we're still selling a fat loss supplement, but we've just really doubled down on, remember here, the hunger and the low energy might be the reason that person stopped buying the brand they were already on. This may not be day one. This may be, a 2-year journey they've been on and they're still trying to find the right supplement. And every single one has just left them fatigued and worn out, whether it's taken the weight off them or not. And those negative side effects have been so bad that they've outweighed the benefits of a skinnier tongue. So I'm not going to say any more on that minimalist, real blank label versus my old school way of getting 3 benefits in. But I think if you were to put something like caffeine appetite control, ashwagandha mood support, and what's a fat burner, L-carnitine, weight loss support, I think that those 3 statements would be much better on a label than off, in my opinion. I'll say no more, but don't make no claims of curing no illnesses. Right, what do we got next? Font and label colors clash. Yeah. Right, so this is really hard to see. I've made them too small. Now, 4 or 5 years ago, following the trend, which is really small fonts, I might have done it myself, but I've always given some thought to accessibility, and I have had, for my main supplement business, largely older market. And I have seen that I need to increase my fonts on my website, and I have done so. But the last 2 years, my eyesight's got real bad fast. So I've had to start wearing glasses. I can't see a damn thing without them. I really, really can't. And so give thought to that. There are products now, I pick something up in the shops now, and if I haven't got my readers with me, it's not even a consideration. If it's a really sunny day, and I might be able to catch, but for most things, people are making fonts so small now. So say more with less. Make the fonts bigger. If you're doing a memory formula, the first thing you should think about is really nice size lettering, so your 70 and maybe 80-year-old clients, no matter how badly deteriorated their eyesight is, they understand what your formula is going to do for them. Because remember, if you watch my other videos, you'll know the #1 reason in sales given for people not purchasing something was that they didn't fully understand what it would do for them. For that reason, they didn't see value in it. So when someone's clear on what it's going to do for them, then they can make an informed decision, and more times out of 10 will see value in the price that you've asked for. Don't forget that. Talking to my other videos, if you haven't seen them, go check them out. If you like your mum, hit the like button. And if you want to make her financially free, subscribe, because I'm going to keep giving loads of great stuff. And listen, I came out the starting gate. I did $440,000 in my first 12 months. And that wasn't luck. I got mentored myself. And I had also been in sales for many years. So I just needed to translate that over to the online world. But a lot of what I've got works. So take it in and subscribe. Consider doing so. I hope I've earned your subscription today. Now, let's finish off the last one. Bad spacing and layout. I've got my 90 capsules floating around. Get a ruler underneath there and get everything, the bottom of the letters, all lined up beautifully. We do like symmetry. Okay, and play around with the height of lettering and etc., etc. I was listening to Tony Robbins once, and he said he had a friend who was a plastic surgeon, and the plastic surgeon explained to him the difference between a good-looking person and what we would consider a non-good-looking person is not necessarily the overall look, but more a matter of ratio. And just by lifting the upper lip or bringing, the brow down a couple of millimeters, can pull everything into a very nice symmetrical ratio and suddenly make that person look a lot more attractive. A full facelift and, is not necessary. It's just getting the right balance. So play around with the height. Sometimes if we've got a softer formula, something like menopause, I would consider having or anxiety, or I bring that anxiety word down lower. I just don't want it to be too high. Height is threatening, so I just want to have it low. And if I just want someone not to feel, in particular, any sort of emotion other than, I hope this helps, then I will keep that word lower. If it's like a bodybuilding formula or something, then I will try and give that bottle label the illusion of size by moving that, in this case, anxiety word, as far up to the top as I can. Maybe considering putting the brand name on the spine, just going, vertically or whatever up the side there, so that I can get this hype. So think about it. What is the product? Who are we speaking to? Are we speaking calmly or in the correct tone? And are we getting our spacing out right? Are we thinking about our accessibility to people that can't see too well? And the last point there, the most important, any claims we've got, do we have asterisks next to them? And the reason we need asterisks, and we would need an asterisk next to, we can't say it, but if we could say depression cure, just underneath formula there, which again is in black and is fighting the back label, so get that into white. But if we could say depression cure, we would definitely need an asterisk there. And because any suggestion of any health improvement or benefit needs to have that asterisk, which will link round to the back of the label to the FDA statement box, which says, as I think I said earlier, these statements have not been, I can't remember the damn word. Something by the FDA. These statements have not been approved by the FDA, and this product is not designed to diagnose, treat, mitigate, or cure any illness or disease. That's it roughly. Google it. God, I need someone make me a clarity formula, will you? So there you go. There's the example of a very bad label, what not to do, and I will make another video on how to do a good label. All right, but just give some thought into it. When going to a label designer, I've said this in other videos, but excuse me. Sorry, when going to a label designer, if you give them a blank canvas to work from, it's very hard. It always helps when you've got some form of inspiration. And if you do want them to just start from blank, you run the risk of someone defaulting to a template. And you don't want that. So what you could do for your label designer is help them out by taking them 3 supplement bottles you like, or 3 links to 3 websites you like. And these don't necessarily need to be supplement bottles or supplement websites. It could be a bottle of window cleaner or a clothing website you like. But if you like the fonts and the colors and just the general layout and feel, then send 3 examples to your designer and tell them to get you somewhere close. Also, always remember to send them a little overview of who this product is targeting. And I've said this in another video, but I'll say it again. If I said to you, do me a label for a memory formula, go. You'd probably go, okay, right, this is for 70-year-olds, and it needs to be therefore white because they'll want as close to medical as possible, doctor recommended, so let's just keep it white. No funky colors for our senior clientele. And we'll put some silver in there, some platinum, because, just old people. So there you go. And you'd give it to me and I'd say, no, what have you done, you wally? This is useless. This isn't a memory formula for 70-year-olds. It's a memory formula for 17-year-olds. It's a study buddy. It's designed to help them store and recall more learned information. And this needed to be like black and neon, like a gamer fuel. They're carrying this around campus. We can't have people laughing at them with some old-fashioned looking prescription medication. Now, who really was the wally? Well, it wasn't you, actually, because you would have done a really good job, because 9 times out of 10, a white and silver label for a memory formula would have been a good choice. I was actually the wally because I just didn't think to let you know who I was targeting. if I'd come to you first and said, hey, you're probably thinking of doing white and silver, but scrub that. Let me tell you who my avatar for this business is, my perfect average client. It's a 19-year-old student coming up to exams, stressed, da-da-da-da-da-da. It's got to be on campus, might be used during the day, not necessarily at home, so it's going to be there in the gym bag, wherever, in the school bag, etc., etc. And your designer should be able to take that message on board and produce something that that 19-year-old stressed student sees and goes, whoa, what's that? Are you what I need? Are you what I've been looking for? And that's what we want to happen. All right, lovelies, I've been Mark. You've been awesome. I hope I've earned a subscription today. I've got 22 subscribers. It's really small, but it feels so lovely. It feels so good that people want to hear this stuff and don't mind me delivering it. So God bless you all, and go build something awesome. As I said earlier, the takeaway from this is whether you build it right or build it wrong, it's probably going to take the same amount of time. Probably less if you do it right. And you're going to have to build it anyway. So build something at the end you're really, really proud of. Imagine yourself at a trade show in 18 months' time. There you are with all your bottles laid out behind you. And you see an old lover, school bully or teacher or ex-boss or someone. And one or two things is going to happen. And that is, if you built it right, you're going to be like, Sue? John? Yeah, this is me. Because you're going to be proud of it. And it's going to look great, and it's going to have that love and care and authenticity in it. But if you built it wrong and threw it together, oh God, there's Sue, oh God. We don't want that happening. So put some love and care in and make sure if anyone says, what are you doing now? And oh, what's your website? You say, this is my damn website on my damn business card because I'm damn well proud. And you don't come up with the usual, oh, my website needs redoing. You get the message. Now go and watch some more of my videos and just leave a comment on what content you want next. I've got so much, I've listed out 50 videos to make, but I don't know where to start. Help me out here and I'll help you. All the best. Cheers.